For a long time, the Mamiya RZ67 was my main camera. I loved shooting with this camera. It's so customizable, the lenses are beautiful, and it's just such a nice experience looking at that ground glass, seeing your composition through the lens, and I've shot so many of my favorite photos with this camera. That being said though, it isn't without its problems, and because of that, about a year ago I picked up the Mamiya RB67. The RB67 came before the RZ. I've had some experience with both cameras now, and I figured I would do a comparison video talking about the differences between the cameras and maybe help you decide which one is right for you. The beauty of these cameras is that at their core, they are literally both just a dark box with a mirror inside and ground glass on top. So at its core, these cameras are super simple, but there are quite a few differences. First off, you'll see on the RB that you have two rewind mechanisms. One is on the body and one is on the film back. The one on the body resets the mirror after you shoot a photo, and it resets the lens. The one on the film back is what advances your film to the next frame. So between each shot, there's kind of a double action that has to happen here. You shoot the photo, you wind the mirror back, then on the film back itself, you also advance the film, and then you're ready for the next photo. On the RZ, this isn't the case. You just shoot the photo, and the winder on the body advances both the film and the mirror. The next big difference you'll notice is how both cameras control aperture and shutter speed. Both cameras have an aperture ring built in right on the lens. The difference is that with the RB, the shutter speeds are also on the lens, whereas on the RZ, they're on the body of the camera. I don't mind either one, I've used both, just a difference. Both of these cameras have a rotating film back. This is how you change from portrait to landscape orientation. On the RB, it's just a matter of twisting the film back. That's what RB stands for, rotating back. Mine is quite tough to do. I don't know if every RB is like this, but I don't mind it, and it's not something I'm doing very often anyway. On the RZ, you have a switch on the side. Once you hit the switch, you can very easily rotate the back. This is super easy to do compared to the RB. One of the main mechanical differences between these cameras, and the reason people actually buy the RB over the RZ, is that there's no battery in the RB. It's a fully mechanical camera, no electronics to worry about dying, and no batteries. Whereas the RZ has a battery right here on the bottom. This means that you have to worry about changing this battery, although it doesn't die very often. There is always that sort of risk that it's gonna run out mid-shoot. And also you just run the risk of dealing with old electronics, which are known to sort of die mysteriously whenever they feel like it. So definitely reliability is a huge thing, and I think the RB takes that win for sure. These cameras actually weigh the same. Without the lenses, they weigh about 4 pounds, which is very heavy for a camera to carry around. I thought the RB would be heavier, but it turns out it's not. It's actually just a little bit bulkier, I think, and the materials and things are sort of less convenient to hold, and that's because these were meant for studio cameras. They built these to mount on tripods in a studio. These weren't made to be carried around sort of everywhere. The materials on the updated RZ are much nicer. It feels a lot more refined in sort of every action, things like rotating the film back or flipping up the viewfinder or changing the lens just feels more refined. It feels nicer, but I don't think it's a deal breaker, and I definitely don't think it's a reason to go for the RZ over the RB. The next thing, and honestly a very big deciding factor in why I bought another RB and not an RZ, is price. The RB is so much cheaper. You can buy these for a lot less money. The lenses are also cheaper, the film backs are cheaper. They are a lot older, less kind of nice to hold, but I don't know if that justifies the price difference necessarily. This is a lot cheaper. You're gonna have a lot more money for film and developing if you go with one of these than the RZ. Finally, let's talk lenses. The RZ67 got a whole new set of lenses when it released. They're supposedly much nicer, updated glass, the quality is really beautiful, but the RZ is also backwards compatible with RB lenses. So let me show you. I can mount this 127mm lens from my RB directly onto the RZ and it works perfectly. So if you buy an RZ, you can take advantage of the cheaper RB lenses. The RZ lenses are supposedly nicer, the build quality is better. I personally have never noticed a difference in the optics, but I've also never done like a side-by-side comparison. I don't think that's ever been a deal breaker for me though, but just something to consider. You cannot use the RZ lenses on the RB. So that is my comparison of these two cameras. I hope that was helpful. I hope it helps you make a decision if you're in the market for one of these. Thank you so much for watching, and finally thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an incredible all-in-one website building platform that you can use to build your photography portfolio online. I've been using Squarespace for so many years at this point, and they've made it so incredibly easy to get a website up and running with my photography. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can hit the link in my description for a 14-day free trial of Squarespace. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Willem for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week with another video. Peace.